My name's Aaron Escalante.
And where you from?
I'm from the West Los Angeles area. I grew up off of LeBron Adams, 18th Street neighborhood. My name's My childhood growing up, it was all right. I mean, I grew up in a black and brown community. You know, my mom and my dad, they always did whatever they could to make sure that I had whatever, I needed. It wasn't too rough. Going to school and everything, I went to a Catholic school probably to like the 8th grade. Ninth grade, started going to public schools, started hanging out in the street more, started seeing a lot more things happening in the neighborhood, shootings, whatnot. Went to public high school, and I just started choosing the wrong path from there. The site that I grew up on, the school that we went to, like there was another, a rival gang that used to go to that school. So being Hispanic, you would get, kind of picked on, not picked on, but you would have encounters with a lot more different people, and I ended up dropping out. And just hanging around in the neighborhood, and I ended up, gangbanging at the age of maybe like 15. Well, to me, bro, so I mentioned, right, like the neighborhood I grew up in. I think to narrow it down, I'm just a product of my environment, like I don't have a specific reason, like, oh, I used to get beat at home, or I used to see my dad do drugs. I had one older brother that gangbanged, but that's about it. He was too old for me to see what he did, so I can't blame it on anything. I just say I'm a product of my environment. I saw the things that were going on, and I guess going to a Catholic school, from basically preschool all the way to like 8th grade, it deprived me in a sense, I guess, of like what the street is really like, and once I was growing up seeing it, it drew me to it, and I just went for it. Man, so, I was gangbanging at the age of 16. I'm now 36 years old. But at the age of like 30, I went through a very dark stage in life. I lost my children. I lost custody to my kids due to drugs. And then I ended up going to prison. My wife passed away. And that was my escape, like in order to mask my feelings, in order not to feel sad or angry at myself or angry at the world. Like I would just, I would use dope. And I would just use dope to the point where I'll just be smoked out, chilling in the room. You could be conversating with me and I'm not even paying attention to you, because that was me. I wanted to block everything, like all feelings, And yeah, I went into it. I struggled with it. I went to prison. I was in prison for like 4 years. I stayed clean, got out, fell back into it. And I ended up going to a rehab. I ended up going to a rehab for like 3 months. And I kind of got the hang of things. I'm not going to say that I beat the addiction, because there was times where I fell after I did the rehab. Here I am. I still haven't beat the addiction, but I'm coming a long way. I'm close. I know I could say no a lot more than before, and it's all due to doing something positive, man. Like when you do something positive, you just feel good. At least in my case, like I go to work, I talk with positive people, I surround myself with positive energy, I get nothing but positive back, and shoot, I go pick up that paycheck, it's like, man, this shit feels good, Like, I don't want to be smoked out, not getting no paychecks, not talking to pretty women out there, or just making friends, It sucks, man. But yeah, that's what keeps me going, just the money and the positive attitude that I get from other people.
Perfect.
Relationship with my wife, man, it was the coolest. So I was like, I could say I was probably like maybe 19 to 20 years old. Her mom her mom didn't really like me, so she was like, my wife's name was Patricia, so she was like, hey, if you want to be with Patricia, you're gonna have to marry her. So I was like, all right, cool. So at the age of 19, 20, here I go, I'm getting all my paperwork ready, we just take off to Vegas. Bam, and her mom's trying to scare me, right? Her mom's trying to scare me, and sure enough, we go to Vegas and we do it. We get married right then and there. And, all starts the relationship that lasted for like 11 years. We had our first daughter, then 2 years later, we had our second daughter. And then it was like every other 2 years, like we were having more and more kids, you get me? So we ended up having like 5 kids. And everything was great. Whatever I wanted to do in life, she would back me up. Whatever she wanted to do, I would back her up. She actually went to Everest College and graduated. She was a medical assistant. She walked the stage like 8 months pregnant, and I had her back. Like, I would tell her stay at home, but she'd be like, no, I want to do something. Like, hey, go for it then, And then just things happened. Fell into the drug use, and things just start going bad after the drug use, like when people are on drugs, they just become somebody different. And we ended up splitting up right before I went to prison, and right after, maybe like 2 years into my prison term, I got a message telling me that she had passed away. But for the most part though, like while she was alive and while we were together, it was like, I would think it was like a relationship like none other, Relationship with my wife, man, it was the coolest. So I could say I lost everything, like earlier, I mentioned I lost my wife. I lost my wife due to drug addiction, I lost myself, I lost my kids. I've lost friends. I've lost family. Like, maybe the question should be, what haven't you lost, Man, the one thing I'm glad I did not lose though was my mind, like all those drugs and everything, bro. Like, I thank God that I can still sit here and have a conversation with you, I can still go somewhere and go to work and make money, like I'm still coherent, I'm still sane, bro. That's the one thing I'm glad I did not lose. But yeah, man, I lost it all. And I don't wish it upon anybody, like if you guys are out there partying or whatever and you find like a drug that you really, really like, like treat it with respect. Like, I'm not saying don't do it because I'm nobody's dad, but be careful with what you guys do, man. It's no joke, you might take it as a game today, and then a month later down the road, like without you even knowing, your body's asking you for your drugs. We're not talking about weed because everybody smokes weed, but everything else that's out there nowadays, like you get on fentanyl, you get on ecstasy pills, whatever it is. You get me? Like, if you pop them for like 2-3 days, like you want to get off the next day that you're clean, it's like your body's kicking. You get me? You're having anxiety attacks. Like, your body's just asking you for it, and that's when you know that you're at the beginning of your problem, because now you want to stop what your body's asking you for it, and that's the addiction taking over. So, just party safe, be careful.
Okay. And I know right